Hi there, this is Shannon with Shannon's Kitchen. Coming to you. It's Tuesday, and tonight we're going to be cooking camp stew. Now, I'm not going to be on here very long tonight. We've had some stuff going on today, and I'm just not going to be on long tonight. But what I've done is I've cut up a whole onion here and a whole shallot here. And I'm fixing to add a whole head of cabbage and some olive oil, and this can of whole tomatoes. In the ingredients it says tomatoes, tomato juice, salt, calcium, and citric acid. That's what's in here, and it's with the juice. But right now I'm going to go ahead and cut up my sausages. And these are classic bratwurst. Now you can use the Johnsonville sausages, the ones that are like in a teardrop shape or round shape like this that you see near the bacon or the sandwich meat. But what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut them like this. And I'm going to add them into here real quick and cook them and get like a roux. Now a roux is the fats that come from a meat, and it starts a fond at the bottom of the pan, and you can usually pour like wine or anything in there acidic to kind of start a gravy or a sauce or a broth. Now I'm not going to put anything else in here but olive oil and water and the sauce from my can of onions. But there's something that I'm going to add in there, and now you can come up with your own seasonings, but really the thing that you put in here, the recipe come from Kenny's. Remember I told you I use Kenny's spices? You can go to Kenny's www.kennyspices.com to order these because you can't get them in the grocery store. But this is called Kenny's Camp Stew. And this is, you put a teaspoon of this in here, and this makes for a good broth. But you put potatoes in here, and I'm gonna do, I mean it's a big pot, but I'm not gonna make a whole lot because it's just me and my family eating it. And sometimes leftovers being what they are, sometimes they could get thrown out and food's just wasted. So I'm not gonna make a whole lot. Just going to be enough to feed us for tonight and possibly, for lunch tomorrow. Or my husband can take some to work for lunch if he wants. But just kind of trying to be quick tonight because we've been through an ordeal today. But anyhow, so I'm adding those in. I'm going to go ahead and add my onions. Some of my onions and stuff like that. And I'm going to add the rest of these once I add my tomatoes that I cut up and my potatoes. But I'm going to go ahead and cook these up and let this get brown and let sauce get started in the bottom of the pan before I add everything else up. But I'm going to go ahead and cut up my potatoes and stuff and put those in. And then I'm just stirring everything up in the pan in here real good, getting a good fond at the bottom of the pan. And I've got everything set on 7 right now. We'll wash these in the sink.
How many cans do you on the wall? That's a good question. This is a competition now. How would I help you? Not about competition. Okay. Shoot. Not my partners.
I'm just cutting these up. But yeah, a roux is something that is produced out of meat. It comes from the juices, like the fats that come out of any meat that you render into a hot pot or pan. And then a lot of people like, that's where people make their gravy. Not all gravies come from a bag or a can already made, or with the powder or whatever, but it comes from the fat of your meat. That's what a roux is. And usually when you make a roux, you're making any kind of sauce or gravy. It comes from the fat of your meat. This is a sausage, and it's going to render fat into the pot, and that's going to be used in our broth, just like when we cooked that chili Friday night. I used the roux from the hamburger meat to go with the sauce to add to the flavor. And right now I'm just stirring everything up, giving these onions a chance to caramelize. I'm fixing to add a stick of butter. Well, that was one whole stick. I may have to get a spoon to get the rest of this off. Alright. I'm going to put this in the sink to wash it and then put another stick in there. But yeah, this will be good for the stew. Now, this is 16.9 fluid ounces of water. I'm going to wait, I'm going to add a little bit in here right now. That way I can start scraping that fond off the bottom of the pan, and it can get to reducing quite nicely with my onions and my meat and my butter. Okay. But, yeah, that's how people make homemade dressing. Homemade gravy is they use the roux from the fats coming out of the meat onto the pan. And so, yeah, people make them for Thanksgiving all the time. They make roux for Christmas. You got gravy, especially if you like making sawmill gravy and biscuits. You reduce. I like to use Jimmy Dean sausage in the pack that's rolled up like hamburger meat comes in, and you put it in your pan, and then it reduces this sauce in the pan, and then you turn the heat down and you add flour and milk and some seasoning in there, and then you just add, go up on your heat a little bit and just keep stirring, and it thickens up and it turns into a white gravy. And then you drizzle it over your homemade biscuits. And I use the recipe on the back of the White Lily bag of flour, because that's the kind of flour I use is White Lily. But yeah, the potatoes just add a little bit of filler in there. I'm gonna need some more. Just finished off that bag that I used from the dinner the other night Sunday night when we had that roast, a slow cooked roast. But by the way, it was good, really good. Let's see.
Well, he was with me at the museum, and he wanted me back there, so I can go. Oh, no, thank you. Hope you enjoyed the show. Yeah, anyway, for 20 minutes, but Sergeant used a palette of red, white, bone black, Olivia, vermilion, and rose madder, all just for the skin. Did you take an item in 20 minutes?
Okay, I'll just wash these. I'm gonna go ahead and put one. cut these up.
I looked at Kylie's computer and it looks like she needed an appointment with the doctor.
Well, I hope everybody had a great weekend. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to do Friday for dinner here. I'm thinking about that. I think I might do a pork chop chutney. I don't know. I don't think I've showed y'all how to do that yet. But you see how that's rolling up real nice and all those flavors are marrying together.
Yes, 5:31. Okay, there are 19 couples ahead of you, and then you're up for your first round of auditions. We're ready. This is the time. I don't really care. I'm gonna test everybody in the lab. They're doing so. Did you say the GM said that poison was used in the fireworks? Yes, let us see the best way to set the color. Right. Take a look. That's her mom on the train up there.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure all of these get reduced real nicely in the pot before I add my potatoes. Trying not to cut myself like I did Friday. It's healing up pretty nicely.
Cranky and
It's amazing to me.
Can you fix this?
How just the seasoning can make a whole stew. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start stirring all this up. Just want my sausage to get cooked down and get a little bit brown before I add everything in there. And this is my head of lettuce. The recipe calls for a whole head. So I'm going to go ahead and peel the outside layer off. I'm just going to get rid of just the outside layer. Just take this outside here. Discard that. Alright, so that's ready. I'm not going to stick it in there like a whole head, but you know. Alright, so all my sausage is beginning to get brown. And it smells delicious in there. Right now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of salt. A sprinkle.
Lead was used in dyeing Lynn's costumes, and there was trace amounts of lead in the dress. I hid my pencil case in makeup case.
Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to go through and add my potatoes because those will take a little bit longer to cook. So you want them to be in the liquid for a while because those take longer to cook. You don't want everything else in your pot to be finished and then your potatoes not be done.
So Layla or her mother would have been able to slowly poison Edwina over the years. Security guards will walk on it. Flat acid.
I can't wait to pan-sear a steak again. I've been thinking about those pan-seared steaks for 2 weeks and how delicious they were. But yeah, we're gonna just kind of stir them around a little bit. Alright, we're gonna add the juice from these tomatoes.
No, it's like Angela said. Sometimes art comes first and they are magnificent. Wow, I don't know about that.
Okay. Now, it's the same kind of tomatoes like what we used in our chili. These are the whole peeled tomatoes. That's what they look like. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to squish.
Marry the hips. They do not lie.
Let that juice go into the mix from each tomato. Like I said, I think there's about 6 or 7 of those in here.
Your life in this number, I mean, incredible.
You were on fire out there. You were fabulous. And
Oh yeah, squish, squish.
Very, very
It's quietly where I can make a big noise.
My mother didn't do anything, okay? I poisoned Katerina. My mom's blood salts. I said don't talk. You listen to me for once in your life. Are you serious? All I do is
Alright,
listen.
we're gonna throw this out. I'm gonna go wash my hands.
I just knew that if I could get on this TV show, she could point me out to the world. Okay, that's my daughter.
You're proud?
I didn't mean to kill Katerina. I got a boyfriend. You think Tommy's gonna stick with me when I'm in jail for murder? Oh, Katerina didn't die of poison.
Someone
Alright. I'm gonna add the rest of our water in there. And no, it doesn't look like there's much in there, but I'm not gonna make a whole big pot. I'm gonna add in a cup. That was a cup of water I just put in, and now I just added a cup of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. And that's gonna marry just fine with the roux that we have in there. And here in a minute, I'm fixing to add the rest of our onions. As a matter of fact, I think I'll go ahead and do that now. This has got that layer flavor and layer. But in a minute, when I'm done with this, I'll video it again, and you can see the finished product. See you soon.